problems, yeah. Corrupted government, gay rights and Caitlyn, friendships and all the ways to solve them, yeah. So we got nothing better to do, sit around and drink smooth. Think fast, make it last, just the past. Tune in to the ModeCast, to the ModeCast, to the ModeCast, to the ModeCast, yeah.
What's up, everybody? Jeremy here. Got another disclaimer because we're amateurs. And I don't know what happened this time, but Chad and Ryan's mics weren't on or a cable wasn't plugged in or something because their mics didn't work for the first half hour. So everything was picked up on my mic, though. It just sounds a little echoey. And if that's annoying to you, you can go ahead and skip ahead to 33 minutes, and everything should be good by 34 minutes. And, well, we were going to try to redo the conversation, but it's just, after listening, there's just no way we can recreate it. And I don't want to have to try, because I don't want to fake it. So, I'm sorry about the echoey sound and the bullshit and, well, us being amateurs. So, let's get this podcast started.
Everybody, welcome back to the ModeCast. We're here with Ryan's childhood friend, and I think I was a little too old to actually get to know him, but Chad George.
Hey, how's it going?
We're your number one fan, Chad.
Dude, that's...
I think we're just jealous.
I'm jealous. I don't know if you can beat out my niece, because she's probably my number one fan, but alright, I mean, I'll sign your boobs if you want. That's unfortunate.
I think we're both just, because we somewhat grew up off-roading, I mean, and we were always, like, I don't want to say envious, but, like, jealous kind of in a way, just because, like, you got to do exciting shit.
You know what, I know I'm fortunate. Like, I'm not, I mean, I work hard every day, but, like, I was fortunate to grow up in the family I did and be able to get to do the things that I do. Like, having a sand car business and learning stick at 7 and driving, you know, and these sand cars. And I'm definitely a fortunate kid to be able to go out and play. And like I talk about, I have a kid on the way, and I talk about it with my girlfriend or fiance, and talk about like what did I do as a kid, and like all I know is off road and going on the weekends and playing, and I can see that like I know that I'm fortunate, and you know, hopefully now that I'm a part of the business, that I work hard enough to earn my right to be able to play with the toys. You know, that's really why we're in this business, because we couldn't support our. I was thinking of a way to say it last night. Our adrenaline addiction without having a business that does it. You know what I mean?
You've been like that since we were kids, though.
I know.
We're just doing nutcase shit.
Well, after the last time we talked to you, too, like, we were both astonished that there's not really any money in off-road racing. And, like, after talking to you, like, yeah, you have to be in the business to do it, because how else are you going to support it?
They call off-road, especially desert off-road, they call it a contractor sport. Because you have to be big, making big money, because it costs a lot of money, and there's not a lot of money to be made in off-road. It's strictly, you have to go to a drawing board, and we do it each year, and we're getting ready to do it again, because my season's coming to a close, and go to the drawing board and say, I'm willing to spend X amount of dollars to have X amount of fun, and that's kind of where it lies. And the scales are either lean one way or the other. You know what I mean? So right now we're back at the drawing board as this season's coming to a close. Saying I have a kid on the way, life's changing. I'm in the process of getting a new house. Is the juice worth the squeeze? You know, is it worth spending the money this year to go off-road racing? Because off-road racing is not, I mean, everyone sees off-road, like, if you Instagram or whatever, it's like you post the pictures of the good times. But we're in here at the shop weekly, nightly, banging out hours, you know, and that's a lot of time away from home. That's a lot of time that you just have to commit each year to know to know I want to go racing, and especially if you want to win, which I don't go to race, I go to win. There's a difference, you know. And so to go to win, you have to come with it on the backside of the program, working each night, always on the drawing board, and frankly spending dollars to find that extra tenth of speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot of hours away from home, especially with a new baby.
Yeah, I mean, for the first year, like, I'll just be frank right now, like, I'm really on the edge of the juice isn't worth the squeeze anymore, because it's something we're spending our money to do. I'm not getting paid to do it. In fact, even my race winnings, which are minimal, they go right back into the program, you know, assuming you get on the podium and win some money. They just go back into the program, so we go. It is a family. It's nice because every time you do it, the whole family comes out. My dad, my uncle, my grandma, my grandpa, my sister, like extended family, cousins. Everyone comes out and plays, but it's really...
Well, that was mostly our reason for going to Chula Vista, to watch you race.
Yeah. I mean, it is, but you spend a lot of time away from home. I have to leave early on the weekends to go. Pretty much we race once a month, and it's a 4-day process. So yeah, my dad or my girlfriend and all of us they'll come for the weekend, but I'm gone the day beforehand and the day afterhand, and the whole week leading up, I'm not home till 11 o'clock. You know what I mean? 12 o'clock at night, where she's already asleep. And it takes its toll, but that adrenaline rush of crossing that finish line first it's what really keeps you coming back. You know what I mean? It's that straight shot into the blood of adrenaline.
So you started with the Razors, right? You're racing Razors?
Yeah, back then it was actually Rhinos.
I want to say Rhinos, but everyone corrects me and says the Razors. And I was like, I could have sworn it was Rhinos.
Well, you have Yamaha Rhino, Polaris Razor.
So it really breaks down. They're all like UTVs or side by side.
Yeah.
Like side by side racing or UTV racing. Because it could be anything. Like at one point I drove for Yamaha, and then after that I drove for Kawasaki for a lot of years, which opened up a lot of doors, you know. But
did you have to buy your Kawasaki?
So, I mean, I'll lay out the whole racing history. I've always kind of raced. I raced motorcycles a lot when I was younger, and my cousin did, so I'm really close, like our family close with our cousins and stuff, and he raced motorcycles for longer, and about the time we were maybe 13, I split off and started going to the dunes more because I liked driving more than I liked riding. And I still love riding. I still have a passion for it, and I would let my kid ride it all because I think it's a great sport. But I felt more comfortable in a car, so I didn't race for a lot of years until I was probably 16, 17. I heard about these races at our local motorcycle tracks. Like, it was right when Rhinos had just come out. Like, we're talking, people didn't even, it wasn't a household name. Razors didn't exist back then. And we heard about these guys just like racing local motorcycle tracks in their Rhinos. What the hell is that? Like, I'm down. Let's just go. Let's just go and see what it's about. We don't have to race, full speed, right? We don't have to have full commitment. We'll just do what it takes. So I showed up to my first race, so you had to have window nets. Well, I didn't have a window net. I put orange, fencing.
that event fencing, the orange event fencing.
Yeah. That plastic.
Yeah.
Dude, it's insane. I had a motorcycle helmet on. You had to have a driver's suit, so the day before, we don't know that until day before or day of, right? So we're thrashing around, and my dad raced, my uncle raced. I find this race suit of my dad's that's especially before back then, he's a lot bigger guy than me. So I'm wearing this race suit that I can fit 3 of me in, dude. I look like
it looks like you're wearing your dad's race suit.
It looks like I'm wearing my dad's race suit. There's no other way to put it. Or one of those wingsuits that dude, I'm sagging. I look like some freaking cholo walking around. So I get in the car, dude, and I'm looking, and it's a motorcycle track. It's the vet track, but it's still a motorcycle track. Doubles, tables, the whole 9, right? And like, all right, and I haven't left the gate since I was young on a motorcycle. Like, whatever, just like shake it off and go racing. Sure enough, so there used to be 3 different classes, what they called super stock, which was stock suspension, and this is all Rhinos. Stock suspension, all you do is replacement shocks, and you need the cage and window nets, which I had the orange ones, so I was set. And then they had mod, which is pretty much all you have to do in mod is use suspension points, pivot points, motor, and diffs. Right? So you can build whatever car you want around it, which is pretty much they're just scratch built cars. So I decided, I'll enter both. I swept up on the super stock, the first moto, and then I got 3rd in the mod race. Like, dude, hitting huge table. I have some pictures. Like, I took the bed off the car because like it weighed too much, you know, and just like a little bubble cage and nothing else besides orange net. So goony, but we went out there and we cleaned up on them. So then we heard they're doing it the next weekend, right? Well, from then on, it was hook, line, and sinker. Like, we're going racing. It just feels too good to win. Raced a couple more times like that, and then I just couldn't get the top 2 guys in the mod class because they had like mod cars, full built cars. So sure enough, we decided like we're building a car, we're going Rhino racing. From then on, it was just we got factory Yamaha, raced for them for a while, and like the cars, you could drop them off a building and they'd suck it up. And it was fun back then because it was on motorcycle tracks. Like, that was some of my funnest racing in the UTV. When you could just hit huge doubles, huge tables, and just like super sketchy bar-to-bar racing. Like every corner, like you're hitting someone, it was just a blast, man. And then it just kind of progressed from there. Just Core picked it up. It was Core back then, but you guys were saying you went to Chula Vista, right? So that was Core. And about the middle of the second season of Core, I got Factory Cowie on board, and right when the Terex came out, and that car just changed the game of UTV racing. Like, it just was so far ahead of its time that you didn't even have to try to win in that car. You know, it just did it itself, and it just changed the game.
So then you went from there to trophy trucks?
No, so from there I dabbled in a couple, I drove a couple of people's cars, like a Pro Buggy and a Pro Light, right? I never got to race the big boy trucks, still haven't, but it's just, that's $1 million budget you need to race. And, yeah, those guys are spending at least $500K, like, but you need probably $600-700 to championship chase, at least, right?
Damn.
That's a lot of time, because racing is not just having the equipment, it's having the equipment, having the time to test it, and having the money and funds to go testing, which is huge, you know.
If you can afford that, I mean, is it worth it if you're on the point every time, like money-wise?
No, not at all. The idea in off-road racing, there's probably like 4 or 5 guys I could think of that are actually making they're not like balling out of control, but they're making enough money to live off of off-road racing. Probably really like 3 guys. The idea behind off-road racing is it's short course really, because desert, I don't think you're ever going to bring in money to pay for it. But in short course, you're trying to bring in enough money to pay for your habit, you know, because that's what it is. It's an addiction. I'm trying to bring it from sponsors, from, like I have, obviously, besides Funko, I have, associate sponsors and guys that get on board and want to be a part of a race team. So they'll throw, 5K at it, 10K at it, and on great floor, tire guys. So the idea is to get enough money in so you can support your habit of racing free of charge. So at that point, we built a Pro Buggy for my Uncle Greg, he really is one of the best off-road racers of all time. Everyone knows him around the circuit. Everyone knows Funko around the circuit, but he was one of the top, and Mickey Thompson tied for the most wins. And then we built him a Pro Buggy, and I got in what was called Super Light, which are trucks, little trucks. It's pretty much a buggy with a truck body on it, but with a rotary engine. And I raced that for 2 years. The second year I got a championship, and that's when that class was stacked. And and it was fun. And I got a championship the second year, and from there we turned it into a Pro Light program, which Pro Light is like the 250 class to the 450 of motocross. You know what I mean? So we did that for a year, and then what happened with that is we just didn't have the funds. I bought a truck it needed a ton of updating, you know, and we got a deal on the truck, but it was never going to be a top 5 truck. It was always a 6th place back truck. No matter what I could do with it. Yeah, you fall into some podium sometime by just like racing hard and stuff, but it was never going to be a truck that can compete for a championship or a race win. Those top 5 guys, they just had better equipment. And they had the money to go test each time at the track.
Yeah.
So when you show up at a racetrack, that I want this converter with, there's so many different changes. These tires, you have to test to do that. Testing costs money, a lot of money. We didn't have, Funko, and I had discount tire on board and stuff, but obviously, like, Funko gives me the world. But we just didn't, or weren't willing to spend that kind of money to be up front. So we took a year off after that. And kind of really had to, like, look inside and be like, did we want to keep racing? What did we want to do? And we sold our old Pro Buggy that my uncle did. And he did select races, but just slayed it. So we said, Pro Buggy is like the alter ego to Pro Light, but like it's probably faster or as fast, you know, about the same speed. But it doesn't look like a truck, so it's harder to get sponsors. The reason you get sponsors is because it looks like a truck. So Joe Smo can look at that and be like, I want to do that to my Ranger. I want that truck. You know, it's nothing like it, but it's sellable it's marketable from a sponsor side, or especially like what they call non-endemic, which would be like not part of the sport, you know, like McDonald's or anything, Tide, something like that. So they can go, I could do that. That looks like the car I drive. A buggy just looks like a Formula One car of off-road. But buggies cost about a third to run because they are built strictly for racing, especially for us because that's what we do every day. We build sand cars, and it's just a small sand car, you know. So we just we built a Pro Buggy, and after a year back, because I went to a local race. Here's what happened: we were taking time off, and me and my dad, my dad's like my closest buddy, like in the world. Everything we do, like we go head first. It's just in the way of my life. You know what I mean? So we decided, like, we're not racing. We're gonna save some money. Let's go buy some guns. And this was like the worst time to buy guns, you know. And like prices were through the roof, bullets were through the roof.
Yeah, I remember all that.
Yeah. And we're like, let's buy some guns. So I had like one or two. Took my dad shooting out one time. Like, yeah, maybe we could do this to like fill our need for adrenaline. Like,
that's not enough.
Addiction. And then, sure enough, about 4 months later, we probably have 25 guns. Like, just everything you could dream of. Full tilt ARs, like there's Ruger 22 right there. Yeah, like dude, just went insane and like it filled that need for a minute, but it just wasn't quite what we needed. So we said, let's go buy Harleys. So I bought a Harley, right? Then he bought a Harley, and he bought like full tilt street glide, just like to the max, and it just wasn't. I mean, I love my Harley still to this day. It's like something that I probably won't ever sell. It's just such a getaway, especially for like stress reliever, especially for me and my dad, where it's like the best part about the Harley is you can't answer your phone. You know what I mean? You're in a car, you can answer your phone.
Yeah.
You can't, and especially my dad, like he's on the phone 24/7. He loves it, and it's our getaway. Because it's not really I love off-road. I love all things off-road, but it's not that. And part of that is nice about it. You know what I mean? It's just something different. But anyway, back to the story. I digress. Oh, okay. So we went to a race. Just a local race. I mean, it was probably middle of season that I took off. We showed up, and right away it was like, we got to do this again. Like, I did not. I had the worst year racing in that Pro Light that I've ever had. Just complete crap. I just fought it. I hated driving, or I hated getting into the truck each race. that's not how racing should be. And the truck was probably not bad at the end. I mean, I know it wasn't bad at the end, but at that point, my confidence was just shot. Like, if you don't think you can go out and win or get a podium, you're not going to go out and win to get a podium. Like, you have to hit the track going, I'm shooting for a win right now. I got it in me.
Yeah, you pretty much have hit the track knowing that you're going to win.
Yeah, you have
not even a guess.
Yeah. You know, you have to at least say, I had better shot than anyone.
Yeah.
But, so we built some pro buggies. And my first year back last year, I hit the podium all but like 1 or 2 races, and we swept up, got a championship in that class my first year of racing it. My cousin ended up 3rd, and he's been racing it a little bit. He hasn't been in a car as long as me, but he was in that class longer. Because he was racing dirt bikes while I was racing UTVs. So then, so we came back this year, and we went full tilt again, and going into the last round, I'm sitting second in points, and he's pretty much got it. My cousin has pretty much got it wrapped up with first. I had a terrible middle of the season, just mechanicals and just kind of the way racing goes, just luck sort of deal. But now we're back at that point going, we want to spend the money again to go racing. Like life for me, anyways, has changed in the last year.
Yeah, but where are you gonna get that adrenaline rush from if you?
I don't know, man. That's the question, though, isn't it? Racing cuts into your playtime too. Like I don't go growing up. I went to Glamis every other weekend, and then on the busy years, and at least once a month.
Yeah, I remember as kids, you guys were always gone on the weekend.
Yeah, at least once a month, to Glamis. And that's an adrenaline rush, right? Going and drive these Santa cars that we built.
Yeah.
Motorsports. It's an adrenaline rush, and that's a way to get it. So, or even a razor, right? So do I go, is a razor worth my family time more than racing is? The racing ultimately is about, fortunately, like, it's about all of us, and I never say I want to race, or I try not to. I say we want to race, because, like, it's a team deal, But when you got a family, I got a family on the way, and, like, just things are changing, do I go, because racing will always be there. It's hard to start back up again, especially if you sell all your stuff, but it's not going nowhere. It's not financially beneficial to me.
Yeah.
It's not taking anything out of my bank account, but it's not putting anything in either.
It's like you told Jay and I on my birthday, you don't race for the money, you race because you want to race.
Yeah, and which I agree, and that's how it has to be, but at some point, I'm just really at that point right now, and I haven't really talked about it with a ton of people outside of my dad, is like, do I want to race anymore? Is the juice worth the squeeze, Like, my life had changed drastically, and I'm racing not going anywhere, but I got to look in the mirror and say, do I want to do this, or do I want to do something else?
You know what I'm asking? What was because you and your cousin did some YouTube videos, like where you guys were like it was the George brothers.
Right.
You guys did 3 videos. What was that for? Was it for a sponsor, or you guys just did it just for fun?
Race videos, you mean? Like they were about racing?
No, yeah, but it was you guys messing around.
Did it recap races and stuff?
It was Funko Brother, or what was it?
Dirt, Sand, Glory?
No.
That's all I could think of.
They're all like 10-minute segments.
Yeah, probably Dirt, Sand, Glory. Or that's what we titled them.
Oh, okay.
So, part of our contract would be like, and it's just good for sponsors, good to keep sponsors if you give them that media for them to post.
Yeah.
Right?
I got the videos.
Yeah. So even if you're not getting a podium or something, you're saying, but I'm still giving you exposure. Sponsors are, I have some sponsors that I love and they're great. But like some other guys, it's like, here's a piece of my soul. Can I have $1? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's you got to keep them fresh. You got to keep them going.
Okay, yeah, it's Dirt, Sand, Glory. Okay.
Yeah, Dirt, Sand, Glory.
Yeah, check them out. They're pretty good.
Yeah, the Google Master over here. It's like, I listen to the podcast all the time now.
What?
You're on Google.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
Well, it's funny now because like hanging out with our friends and whatnot, like we'll be talking about something and it's always been a natural habit. Like if I don't know something, I instantly put my phone out. But now everybody makes fun of me for it.
Now you're put on the internet. It's not going nowhere. It's there forever now. Everyone knows it.
Now we're in a conversation and it's like, oh, Google Boy strikes again. But it's annoying though, dude. Sometimes I'm like, I just want to have a conversation during the call.
I need to know what the truth is.
But you need a fact checker. You gotta have it, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm cool just throwing out bullshit.
Yeah.
But I just diarrhea in the mouth all the time. That's it.
Yeah. You guys are doing about once a week right now, right?
Yeah, every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Every single Tuesday.
Kids, man. Oh, dude, it's a nightmare trying to like this, trying to record this, like picking a day. It's so hard because I work nights, so it's like on the weekend that's family time. So it's like telling my Johnson, like, hey, we gotta go record a podcast. Okay.
So there you go, right? On the weekend, it's family time.
Yeah.
So my life is changing, right? Pretty soon I'm gonna have weekend family time. Now racing. So even when I'm not actually racing, like at the track, weekends is race time.
Yeah.
Weekends, every weekend I'm in here. For sure, every Saturday, like you're in here working on race cars.
Yeah. Someone that tells you, oh, you can totally do it. I don't think they have kids.
Yeah.
I don't think they're there.
Well, I mean, they do it. Like, I know people have kids and do it, but those are guys that are either have the money or getting enough money to pay someone to work on their stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and racing's a commitment. And like for Kyle LeDuc,
Why do I know that name, Kyle the Duke?
he's like one of the best Pro 4 racers right
Okay.
now, and for a long time, anyways. He just had a kid, right? The kid probably won now, but he's still racing and has continued to race and spends lots of time at the shop. It's something you guys, I feel like I would have to look at with my family and say, this is how much time I'm committed. Now, racing is making him money, so it throws a little loop in there. It's not just going
It's financially beneficial.
It's financially beneficial. So, I don't know.
That's your job. You can make time for it. Just like you gotta make time to do the work.
Yeah, exactly. But my job is here at Funko every day, sitting on the phone every day.
What Funko since we're talking about school, I don't know what Funko is.
So Funko Motorsports, sandcar business. It's an off-road business, really. My grandpa started the business in '68, and that's a whole story for like. I could talk for an hour and a half on that.
Yeah.
But that's for another show, you know. But we build pretty much Lamborghini. At this point, we're building Lamborghinis or Ferrari for the sand.
That's a fucking Ferrari in the garage.
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
That is beyond beautiful.
Yeah.
I'll take that over Ferrari any day.
Yeah, and it costs about a Ferrari,
Yeah.
but the money's there, you know. So we build sand cars, and most of our cars go overseas to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Qatar. We're starting to push into the Saudi market. We're trying to, and just high-end sand cars that just supplies us that adrenaline shot. You know what I mean?
Does Funko build anything lower end?
We could.
No, I'm not asking for our price range.
So Funko could. I mean, we would love to. So Funko was really booming in like 2004 to 2007.
Well, because I remember seeing Funko cars out in the desert that were nothing like what you just showed us.
So what had happened with the business is when it all crashed, or before it crashed, people were able to finance cars, and Funko as a business said, right now we build about 20 to 24 cars a year, right?
Okay.
That's it, max. When it was booming, we were doing 60 cars a year, and we had a 120 car backlog.
Holy crap.
Because the cars cost 60 to 80 grand, right? And with nice motors, with nice suspension, everything. But, oh, you want custom seats? We don't do that. Oh, you want a stereo? We don't do that. Oh, you want customization? Like,
So anything custom, you guys weren't. It was just too much.
We always knew we could do it, but we didn't have to, right?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to make money when you go ka-chunk, 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 right? It's just production line. Boom, we're building sand car, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. Now it's like you get to pick out your thread color. You could honestly, like, I want my thread on my dash, on my carbon fiber dash, to swoop into my signature, and then like swoop out of.
Oh my god.
Like it's just insane. Every single color, every single part, you pick your color, your design, everything, right? Fully custom cars to the T, you know.
Hey, real quick, trade him mics. Because that's a longer cord, and you're not playing with your cord. I do the same thing. I'm always like playing with the fucking cord.
Yeah.
Normally it's me, dude.
You're actually being very calm today.
Dude, me and Chad dude, this is how bad it was. Me and Chad used to have to go and take our fucking real medication together.
I hated that, man.
Hey.
I used to put it under my tongue and then spit it out. Couldn't stand being like a zombie. But then I heard when I got older that you could get high off it. And I loved it. I'd save it.
Well, dude, when, how long ago was this? Like 2-3 years ago?
When you got your prescription?
Yeah, dude, because I couldn't, like, fuck, you know, dude, we're hyper as fuck.
Yeah.
You way more than me. Dude, my chick, she hates, if I'm on, like, Adderall, she hates because I turn, like,
Yeah.
But him, dude, he'll be up for, like, 48 hours on this shit.
That's what I mean. It didn't work for me. I tried to save him up and like do it like a drug, but
Well,
it didn't work for me.
that's because caffeine. Does caffeine calm you down?
Kind of, a little bit. Like, I could drink this 16-ounce Red Bull right here, and then, like, I could go to sleep in, like, an hour.
Because that's,
No worries.
from my understanding, I could be totally wrong, but apparently someone who truly has ADD or ADHD, stimulant has the opposite effect.
Yeah.
So that's why...
No, that's 100%. You can ask the doctor, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Coffee. That's what they'll suggest. Like, when I was younger, my doctor told my mom, just give coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee, dude, still to this day, I drink coffee, dude, and I'll start yawning. Like, coffee will put me to sleep.
Man, I hated that. I hated Adderall and Ritalin growing up. It just zonked you out. I just couldn't stand it. Like,
What?
yeah.
But people that are listening to this, dude, they're like, what the fuck? Because I'm telling you, like, there's no way Adderall can make this. Well, fuck, we have several. I've given them a pill of Adderall, dude, and they're like, holy shit.
What?
One time I gave my chick one, dude, she cleaned our entire house within like an hour, dude. She was like,
Rearrange the furniture.
yeah, dude, so.
Remember Trisha took one?
Oh my god, yeah. She comes out and actually gets something on makeup on her face is like, it's just like red as shit because she's like put it on so fast. Like, well, dude, it's literally, it's literally meth for someone that doesn't have ADD.
Yeah, really.
That's
If-
just meth.
I'm actually happy that he gave it to me. It doesn't have the same effect. I took it a ton of times, so now I take it. I can go to bed. But when he first gave it to me, like, it truly gave me, like, almost made me sympathetic for how hyper he gets, because I couldn't believe that, because I couldn't control myself. I could not control myself at all. We were working on his house at the time, right when he bought it, and we were painting, so we were at Home Depot buying paint. I did all the talking. Because
I'll take care of it.
he was so stressed out, like he didn't know what to do, and so I just took over, and I couldn't even stop myself from talking. I couldn't shut it off.
Hey, I was trying to explain to Jeremy, like, you know when you get in those really hyper states when you're at a party and you can't stay and talk to one group, you have to like sit there like, and he'll watch him. He's like, holy fuck! He's like, I can't. I'm so hyper being around that many people. I can't sit there and talk to one person.
Dude, the problem is when I get in that mood and it's like, I get it right before I'm going to bed. Like,
Oh, that sucks.
dude, in the morning you can't force. When I'm supposed to be awake, like I just want to sleep. When I'm trying to go to bed, it's like I'm just like I turn into like a kid. Like I'm like jumping on the bed, like, running downstairs, like do laps with the dog, you know, like. Dude, just running time, man. But I know, I hear you.
If you don't let me ask you, before you got clean, it was Oxy, right?
Yeah, Oxy. I was addicted to more of whatever I could find.
Yeah.
You know.
The reason why I want to know, because I was telling Jay, the 3 times I've been in the hospital I've had to get morphine, I've been like hyper as shit. So I was wondering, like, did that have that effect, like, on you?
Like,
You do
no. I mean, I liked it. It just numbs you out, man.
Yeah.
You just blow a line or something and Oxy and just be like chill and just whatever problems you had, it's like doesn't matter, and you just kick back. And I liked it because it calmed me down. And I could still do stuff, but it just gave me a high.
Yeah.
Like I like even but Coke, right? Which I did Coke and stuff, but it was too hyper. I liked it, and I couldn't stand that I needed it so much, right? I spent a lot of money on stuff, but like Coke, I could not support my habit. It just was gone in a half hour, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Oxy's opiates is really what it is, like the
opiate.
Yeah.
Well, because everything comes from opium.
yeah, it was like the desired effect for me, or it really just took me over the edge of like partying and it became so physically addicting that like I needed that. Opiates were a blessing and a curse because It was a curse because they are what they are. They're a drug and they're super addicted. But it was a blessing because they were super addicted, and it really like put it in my face. Like I have to have these every day, every night. You know.
And how long have you been clean for now?
I got clean on 2/12/09. So that was 7 years or something.
Yeah.
Like that. 5, 6. I don't know.
I can't think back.
I counted up to 5, and then like, I mean, I know it's like 7 years, I think. You know, but
because he stopped drinking and like he's gotten a lot better now when he's in the bar. But I know it's still a little awkward for him, like watching everyone drink around him because you need something to do with your hand. I mean, you want it, hand them out.
So that was really like caffeine and nicotine for me. It was like my and like when I went through rehab, and like I spent a year away from everybody, all my friends, all my family, just a year away from everybody, and it kind of like let me build like that foundation to like go out and then have fun still. And I don't know, my biggest fix, I think, like because not all my friends, like especially now that we're older, they don't drink to get hammered. Like they'll just drink to be like social or whatever. But
yeah, I'm really happy for that.
Yeah,
because the same thing. Like everybody's kind of done drinking by like 10 or 11 at night and just chilled out, and so I don't feel like I need to like keep up and rage anymore.
Yeah. I mean, my greatest asset for especially the first times and now, like, is my camera on my phone, man. It makes being sober worth it. You know, especially when everyone's like partying hard, it made being sober worth it. And for a long time, I didn't go out with them. Like Bobby would like he came and saw me in rehab, and then like he was one of the first people I started hanging out with. Like our friend Bobby, we'd go out, but like we'd go out to eat. You know, we wouldn't go out to the bar, and that kind of just like broke me into the scene a little bit, like baby steps, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And talking with other people that were like fighting the same fight or trying to be clean kind of helped me like stay grounded. And it's good. Like I still to this day, like I try not to glorify my horror stories, but like I talk about when I was using fairly frequently because I need to remember like that it was shitty.
Yeah.
You know, especially at the end, it was shitty. Because as soon as I forget in my head, like, oh, I could probably, like, drink. Like, I wasn't a big drinker anyways, but, like, I'd be an alcoholic with a quickness.
Yeah.
Or I could probably, like, just smoke a little weed.
You don't want to make an excuse for yourself.
Yeah, because I'm better now. Like, I smoke a little weed. From everything I learned and saw in the program, it's like, nah, you can't. You know, because, yeah, I may be able to just smoke a little weed for the first even a month, 2 months, 3 months, but eventually I'm going to need to get high again because where I was, like, smoking weed or getting drunk is not going to be what I want out of my high. Like, I had a very specific, like, need. Like, I want people to, like, have to step over me on the ground. You know, I don't want to just be, like, having fun.
Yeah.
You know.
I want to take it to the extreme.
Yeah.
Well, you earned your nickname, Gonzo.
Yeah. Dude.
Have you ever heard of Ibogaine? Ayahuasca?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ibogaine is another, shaman. It's another type of ayahuasca thing. It's kind of a psychedelic, but so the program, the 12-step program, has like a super low success rate for helping people. Ibogaine has, I forget the statistic, but it's like a 70% success rate with addicts.
Yeah.
It's something I've wanted to do strictly for, little addictions I have. Like sugar is my biggest problem.
Yeah.
Because now that because of pancreatitis, I now have to consider myself pre-diabetic, and so I've been trying to watch my sugar. I can even feel it too. It's like really starting to scare me. Because like yesterday, since I was uncomfortable at a party, I need to have something to drink, so I started drinking soda. And 4 cups of soda later, I started to get a pain right here where my pancreas is.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I freaked out, so I started chugging water. Like, but it's really supposed to help with any kind of addiction you're having. And there's a place that I believe they just opened in TJ. I heard it on a podcast somewhere, and they set it up right next to the main hospital in TJ. Nurses are on staff. And then you have your shaman there to take you through the experience. But apparently it's a terrible experience. Like it's like 24 hours of feeling like you have the flu. But everything you gain from it is supposed to be super beneficial.
I don't not want to have the flu for 24 hours. When I get to have the flu, I'm such a bitch.
Like I've heard every story, right? and like that's like the next. In my opinion, this is just my view. I think the program only works for some people because the program only works, or any program only works for people that want it to work.
Yeah.
Right. And so many people go into rehab or the program or to like these. There's just a million types of things that are put there, court ordered, parent ordered, you name it, but not by choice, right? Program it for people. If they say, if you want it, like, you have to want it to work. You know what I mean? If it was for people that need it, you'd fill stadiums. But if it's for people that want it, you'd fill a classroom. And then there's all, you know what I mean? There's just everything around. So the program probably has a low success rate because not everyone in there wants it. Because you got to put in work. Like, you got to do. It's not just like go to meetings and like hey, whatever, but you got to put in work. And I imagine that'd be with anything, right? Not just any long-term fix. I know it worked for me, but there's all kinds of paths. Like I know people that are like just through God, like have gotten clean. They've tried program, they've tried everything, but it worked. Like different strokes for different folks. It could work. It's worth trying anything, but it worked for me.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Well, because what I don't like is some people talk about ibogaine like it's this magic potion that you take and your addiction's cured.
Yeah.
But then you hear people who went there after going through, the program several times and then saying screw it and going down to South America and taking ibogaine and then coming back and then just sharing their success story like, yes, it truly is a magic potion. I don't even have the slightest craving anymore. And then I've heard addiction specialists talk about...
How healthy is that for you, though?
I mean, it's not unhealthy.
Well, I mean, it's something that's going to give you the flu for 24 hours. I mean, it can't be the greatest for you.
Well, it's like purging your body. I mean, I don't know what exactly it's doing, but I even heard Joe Rogan. You know who Joe Rogan is, right?
Yeah.
That's why I listen to his podcast all the time. And
Yeah, dude, he's playing his fucking chord so much.
that's why I had you switch. That's why I had you switch. It's like, well, no, because
I can't. We already talked about it. And I'm a busybody.
So you guys probably got in trouble in the class all the time when you were in school for not paying attention.
Of course.
But that's how you pay attention. You need something to play with. That's how you pay attention.
Dude, for real.
Hey, this is why when we were buying cords, he was like, let's get 5-foot cords. I was like, let's get 20-foot cords because I need to walk around.
Hey, no shit, huh? No. Now that you said Joe Rogan, I heard about, it's ringing a bell. My cousin was actually talking about it, but my personal view on that is, like, I've seen and heard a million, like, when, like, Suboxone came out, right? That's like a little pill. It's supposed to... Like,
yeah,
I've seen and heard a million, like, quick fixes. Or not that it's a quick fix, but, like, the program sticks. So, like, that's just... I don't know. I'm not saying it's not going to work because... It obviously has some success rate.
Yeah, like I would never do away with the program at all.
Yeah,
That is definitely there's a need for it.
And like I don't know, it's just different strokes. There's got to be multiple avenues for anything, really.
Well, it's frustrating because I've heard addiction specialists talk about ibogaine like they wish it was legal in the States because it's another avenue. It's another choice.
But why wouldn't it be illegal, or why would it be illegal here?
The Sweeping Psychedelics Act, I believe, is what made it illegal. It's the war on drugs that makes everything illegal.
Did everything.
Ayahuasca's illegal in the U.S.
I can see people using that to clear their body out and then get hammered off of it, or just get shit faced that night because they just purge their body and it's probably be a better high.
Well, what do you mean?
Because you're saying that you're cleaning your body out, right? You're purging your body. That's what you're saying.
It's kind of purging you. It's not a pill. It's a tea you drink. It's a disgusting tea.
Well, a tea. Well, there you go. So after you're done drinking the tea, you wait, a day or so, and then do a bunch of drugs because your body's cleaned.
Well, that's the thing is part of it's a psychedelic journey. And like I was getting at with Joe Rogan, so he's partners in a company called On It. It's a supplement company.
Yeah.
And the guy he's partners with, Aubrey Marcus, he's like a psychedelic adventurer. Like all he does is try to better his soul, and it's through his own psychedelic research. And he's gone down to South America, done ayahuasca several times, and then he went down there to ibogaine. I forget, like maybe 6 months ago or so, and he came on Joe Rogan's podcast and talked about his experience and the way he talks about things. But he's going into it. So just the way Aubrey Marcus talks about the ibogaine, he's such a psychedelic adventurer that it's more. He's going into it with a purpose.
Sorry.
You want to close the door?
Yeah, you cut out that noise. I don't know if it's picking it up.
These are so directional. Like, you'll hear it, but barely.
Yeah. Okay, no worries.
Was that the most noise it's going to be?
Yeah.
Oh, it's no big deal.
All right.
He's going into it with a purpose because he's trying to better himself. He wants all he's doing is trying to have a better soul, pretty much. He wants to be a better person. And so on that aspect, it's like I kind of trust what he's, because he did that. He thoroughly is completely honest about his experiences. Like, he tells you everything. It's like, and it's kind of weird to hear from a CEO.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just feel like, for myself personally, I'm at a pretty like happy point in my life, so I don't want it or need it. But like anything psychedelic, I feel like I'm risking, like, I know, like, just in my head right now how my head works. Like, I would go into that to like trip. I wouldn't go into that, like, as much as I could lie to myself and tell me that, like, say I don't want to, like, I want to go better myself, I would go into it and like want to trip.
That's how we are. We have super addictive personalities, and we're definitely aware of it. That's why we don't.
Yeah.
Well, so the way he explains it is, these things have been used for thousands of years for these purposes, and there's a history with it. Like, that's why a lot of people say that LSD is an empty trip, because there's no history with it, because it's more like a cumulative experience. Like with mushrooms, people talk about how you or better yet, ayahuasca. People always see snakes, and it's supposedly it's a part of the history of it. So when you go into your ayahuasca trip, it's a cumulative thing, so everybody who's ever tripped or whoever's tripping at the same time can kind of be there with you, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. That's
pretty crazy.
And so the way he talks about it is, especially when you talk about Ibogaine, he's like, it throws your problems in front of your face. Like, if you go into it trying to trip, like, it's going to show you that you're being an idiot and why you're a douchebag and what you need to change about your life. Like, he was like, because he talks about how it put a lot of his problems right in front of him, and he wasn't prepared to deal with it yet, and so he kind of had to like figure out how to handle that.
Right. Dude, gnarly.
So it wasn't,
man.
It wasn't a pleasant experience. Basically, at the end of it was a good result, but going through the process wasn't pleasant. So it's not something that you'd want to do again.
Yeah, when you're not expecting to be called a piece of shit the entire time you're doing a drug, then it's definitely unexpected.
I don't know, man.
But
maybe ignorance is bliss, though. Maybe, like, if I think in my head that, like, I'm a good person, then...
Oh, no, I'm not saying that, like...
No, I know you're not, but that's just a heavy undertaking. Like, that's something you gotta look in the mirror and be like, okay, like, I'm ready for this, or like, maybe, you know what I mean?
Well, I like that because I get like that off weed. Like, I don't smoke anymore, but there's been a few times where I'll smoke and I just self-reflect, like what I need to do to improve on. Because I get so paranoid, I start thinking about life, and I start thinking about my kids. And I'm like, oh my god, I need to fix this, and that. Like,
right.
So like stuff like that, I think would be.
But the question is, do you fix
this
and that?
I'm so paranoid all the time. Yeah, I'm the most paranoid person you ever meet. I'm constantly trying to improve.
I don't get me wrong, there's times where I've gotten really high and then realized, like, okay, these are the steps I need to take to fix these problems. And by the next day, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But when I do it, because I don't smoke,
yeah,
I sit there and I'll talk about it, and I know I probably annoy the shit out of him because I'm like, all right, I got high 3 weeks ago. This is what I worked out. I'm still trying to work on it.
Dude.
So, I know we have a story that we want to get to, but with drugs, like, how did you get started? And it was like an injury that got you onto something, or just discovered, like, by like a stepping stone type thing where you started here and kind of like, oh, let me try this, and then...
I mean, that kind of leads, like, right into, like, the beginning of the story.
Okay, cool.
I mean, that's a long story. I know, like, we may have to cut this one short or whatever, but...
No, let's do two-part, dude.
So, like, my dad's an addict, right? Or he's been clean for 27 years or something like that. Or probably closer to 15, because, like, in the middle, he had, like, a moment, like, one day, like... He relapsed one day, and just, like, he pretty much proved to himself, like, yeah, I don't know how to like, pace myself.
Yeah, there's
so,
no
like,
moderation.
One time, and he was like, I'm done. Like, for sure, I'm the same way I always was. But, so my dad's an addict. So growing up, you think, you know, oh, I don't want to be an addict. But my own head is like, oh, but I'm different, right? That's like the story of every addict is I'm different. Like, people don't know me. no matter how much they think they do, but we're not different. I'm not different. There's a million like me, a million like everyone else, you know. But the first time I smoked weed, it's like 7th grade or something, and or 7th grade summer, and I had already started drinking. The story goes that like I started hanging out with this group, and like we were just kids, we were all just having fun or whatever, but we were able to drink at this girl's parents' house, and like we would get shit faced. Like, granted, that's on like Smuckers and shit, like Boone's Farm, but like we would get shit faced every single day, right? Pass out and then go home, and I loved it, and that was cool because it felt really like new and just whatever. You're just experimenting. You're young, but the first time like I smoked weed was before 8th grade. Not that I had any problems. Like, I was a happy kid. I was good, but I just remember smoking weed. Like, most people smoke weed, I think most people smoke weed, and they think to themselves, like, wow, that was cool. Like, I want to do that next weekend, or I want to do that again sometime. The first time I smoked weed, I was like, this is the answer. Like, I didn't even know I had problems, but I want to feel like this every day for the rest of my life. 24/7. Like, I just knew, like, this is it. This is the best feeling in the world. It just, everything about it. And I got high as fuck. I was like laying on the grass, you know, like just passed out, fucking, and minute seemed like an hour, but I just loved every part of it. I just thought, like, I want to feel like this for the rest of my life. So begins the story of, like, I've, in every single drug and everything, like, I've chased day one since day two. I've chased that first high since that second high all the time. Like, it was never the same, or
with
like
whatever drug.
Just whatever drug. So, like, we smoked and drank through 8th grade, and it was all cool, and like I did shitty in school anyways. The only thing I ever did good in was like English, because like it just, English clicks with me, you know. And even then I'd do bad because I didn't want to do like the homework. But dude, I'd get high before school, all through high school, and like I just take a book with me, like, and, like, it's weird as fuck to say, but like even to this day I still read like a book every week, right? I just love reading, and it was something that I could dive into, and like I wouldn't pay attention to the class. I just like read my books or whatever, dude. Like, that's the nerdiest fuck to say, but it's just the way I was, right? Because math, I hated math. I just did not click with me. It still doesn't, right? Thank God for the calculator on my phone. Cause but anyways, fast forward into high school. Like, high school year, I started like dabble a little bit into like Coke, or like it was triple C's at the time. Do you guys remember that?
Those the pills,
No.
right? The cough pills?
cough medicine.
Oh yeah, I remember
you
watching.
take like a packet and set like one or two of those, and like it was
Now
like
you can
its own
only
like
buy-
miniature like psychedelic.
Like something like robo tripping.
Yeah, pretty much. That's all it was. But before it was like,
It was
Yeah.
huge though when you
before
and I
you
were
had
in
to
high
go to
school.
the fucking people and say, "Oh, here's my license. I'm 18 and buy that shit." It
Yeah.
was just on the shelf. You just walk in and like grab a pack and put it in your pocket and walk out, and then you're high as fuck half hour later. But I started messing with that stuff, and it was all fun and games, and like, I don't know, man. Maybe I was doing like more drugs than I thought, but I wasn't doing the most out of all my friends. So I thought, like, I'm cool. Like, I'm not an addict or nothing. I just like to get high. Like, there's a million stories along the way of like shitty stories, but like fast forward to like junior year is when I really like knew that I had to smoke weed every day to go into class, like before school and like during lunch. Like, it became less of like looking back now, it became less of a choice and more of like a necessity, or just an average day of life. And I was content with like, I'm gonna smoke weed till I die. I'm gonna do, you know. And drugs weren't as bad, but like I for sure smoked a lot of weed, and like then would dabble in drugs at the party. But weed was like a cigarette. It just was a necessity to daily life.
Was being high causing problems though? 'Cause it seemed like it like benefited you for school.
It didn't benefit me. Like, don't get like I would.
He's just saying he read a book at school. He wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I would just do my own like.
But even if you were sober, you wouldn't have been paying attention.
Yeah, correct.
So it's like,
But maybe I would have been more. 'Cause, like, it didn't. But the truth is, it didn't cause much problems through like junior year or all the way up through junior year. It was just like I didn't have problems at home. You know, I didn't fight like. Yeah, I'd get in trouble from time to time, get caught smoking and be grounded, blah blah blah. But it was just maybe it was junior year. I got caught smoking one time. It was a Friday. You know how Fridays used to be late days? Do you guys have that?
Yeah.
So my parents were supposed to be going to the river, and with some of our family friends, and
I would never leave you home if I was your fucking parent.
so I was like, I pretended I went to school. I waited around the corner. I knew I called my mom, like, did the whole like kid thing, like, oh, what are you doing? Did you pretty much like gave her a bullshit story to figure out if she was home or not.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, we just left. So like, sure enough, pulled around the block, pulled in my driveway. Like I fucking got Friday off to get high and just like play video games or something. Seemed legitimate to me. Like, I don't know. It seemed like a normal Friday to me. Sure enough, dude. Like, and this was one time I got in like big trouble. They left, right? And so I pull in and like, do you remember gravity bongs?
Oh yeah,
Like in the milk jug and push it down. Okay, so
we still do that.
That was the only way.
Yeah. So I was doing it. I did one in my kitchen at my house. And I was just in like gym shorts, like nothing on me or anything, gym shorts and a shirt. And I sucked it in and like held it in and started to walk outside. And fuck, dude, my parents rolled up. And they forgot their fucking wallet. So they had to turn around. Hey,
That's the worst, dude, when you're high and you see that car, like, no.
I walked out the front door and I said, I blew it out the side of my mouth, like, trying to be like, oh, like, nothing's happening here. Blew it out the side of my house, or my mouth, out the front door, and, like, I'm looking my dad in the face, I'm like, blowing it out. And, like, I had the sack with me, and I'm like, he's not gonna see, like, he's standing 10 feet from me, I'm looking at me, and like I throw this sack like into the bushes. Like, what was I thinking? And like, I think I was probably doing like coke at the time, but like it was not. I was like smoking weed, right? Like that's what they caught me with. But I was a little bit high on coke, and like so I was fucked up. But he was like, "Is that pot?" I was like, "What? What are you talking about?"
You know the bag that you just threw right in front of my face?
Yeah, he walked over and grabbed it like this. What is this? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, why aren't you in school? I said, oof.
I forgot my wallet.
I forgot my backpack.
No shit. Like, well, what are you doing here? It's like, what are you doing here?
I asked
So,
you
like,
first,
sits
Dad.
me down on the couch, you know, and he's like yelling at me, and he's like, "You fucking idiot," or whatever. My dad's not like a violent guy or anything like that, but he like slapped me open hand across the head, like, "You fucking idiot," and boom, right?
The red foreman.
And like the coke kind of kicked in a little bit, and I said, "Fuck you!"
Oh my god!
And I punched him, and he fucked me up. Like that story. Like I knew I'd never crossed him before that, and I never crossed him afterward. Because he pretty much beat my ass. So I took off running, and like I fucking ran away when I'm a junior in high school, like a fucking goon. And I really just ran to my grandma's house. I swear to God, dude.
I ran away to my grandma's house.
So if you guys ever went on the 15, you know that frontage road on the left-hand side, if you're going north on the 15, above Summit, the front is on the left-hand side. There's like, they keep those donkeys there. There's like donkeys like in that like one of those houses, like a guy owns donkeys. Anyways, I'm walking past there, and my grandma lives off of like Sierra in the 15, and pretty like far off. But I'm walking there because like, fuck these parents, they don't get me, they don't know, like fuck them. And
for the record, his grandma is the coolest grandma you'll ever meet in your entire life.
She really is. Hey, but she would have like taken me in, and I'm looking at these donkeys, and like the donkeys are like, "Who's the jackass?" Like, like you're a fucking idiot. So like I got in trouble for that one because like, well, I'm not gonna fucking. Where am I gonna go? I'm a kid. I don't have a job. Like I just ended up going back home, you know. I got in trouble for that one, but that didn't stop me for long. Like, I needed to get high, so sure enough, like, back to school, getting high. And then come junior year, and, like, I had, like, a bunch of those little stories like that. That one just fucking donkeys calling me a jackass. So then junior year, or senior year, I start, and, like, I feel like I was kind of, like, I could fit in with a couple different crowds, you know? Like, I could hang out with, like, some of my closest buddies were, like, football players, stars, or whatever, and I can hang out with people that were, like, doing drugs and, like, getting into trouble, and I could, like, read a book with the smart kids. I don't know. You know?
Yeah, I felt the same way. I had several groups I hung out with in high school.
Yeah, like...
I had my main group of my stoner skater friends, and then I also kicked it with a couple of jocks and then a few nerds. And
yeah, it's just, you know, the way it goes. Like, I could fit in with, like, multiple crowds. So senior year, I really started to get, like, high more often. It became more of a necessity with, like, coke. Ecstasy was big. I was doing ecstasy a lot. And, like, started, and, like, I had taken some, like, Vicodin and stuff.
Yeah.
And drink, and it was fun. And somehow I ended up graduating high school. Here's one of the things I regret about getting high is I don't remember graduating. Like, I don't remember walking. I've seen pictures. Like, and that kind of sucks, you know, to, like, talk to your kid someday and be like, oh, what happened? Like, oh, I was there, but I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, you have a more beneficial story, though.
Yeah.
Like, don't do what I did.
Pretty much. I'm going to try, like, when I think about it, like, I'm going to try to, because my girlfriend, she's, like, goody two-shoes. Even she thinks she's not, but, like, so does every goody two-shoes.
But, I mean, when your parents, and they didn't, you know, dabble down that road, and they're trying to give you advice on something you're going through, you're like, no. But if you're talking to a parent about an issue you're going through that went through that, you're like, okay, I think I'm going to take your advice.
Yeah, but there again, like, I was different. You don't know me. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's how my mindset was. I'm not a drug addict. I just like drugs.
Yeah.
Every day and night and afternoon and in the middle of the day and all the time. You know? So after high school, graduated and really started to, like, I found pills. And this is like a fast forward story, but I found pills, or pills found me, and they were like a blessing and a curse. And I was 18 by now. I moved out. As soon as I graduated high school, I moved out. I moved in with my cousin on my mom's side because I couldn't use how I wanted to use, or I couldn't get high how I wanted to get high at my parents. It was just not a possibility. I couldn't smoke weed in my room. I couldn't snort pills in my room. It was just, you know, you're living with your parents. And my dad was pretty in tune to what a drug addict looked like, so I had to get out of there so I can be a better drug addict, pretty much. And then I started doing pills more, and, like, it started out as, like, I like to get high at parties. And then I really like to get high with a few friends and party instead of, like, a big one. And then I kind of like to get high, and I was getting high by myself, but it became more about, I don't want to go hang out with my friends. I just want to get high. Right, so your group becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, and then it's just you. And then, like, at this point, I knew, like, I'm an addict for sure, because I know when I wake up, I hurt because I haven't got high yet. Like, if I wake up in the middle of night to go pee, like, I'm taking some pills to, like, just get in my system so I don't hurt.
That's the scariest thing about opiates. Like, every time I've seen any, like, you know, intervention show or addict show, like, where they show the withdrawals from opiates, it looks miserable.
It's hell. It's fucking hell. Like, your knees, your body would be like, your legs would be like sweating. Your chest and arms are freezing. Your body just doesn't know what to do. You feel like you're getting hammered in the knees with, like, a ball peen hammer. Like, it's just horrible, and you're sick. It's like the worst flu you ever caught, right? But
how are you paying for it?
That's why I was talking with Corbin today or yesterday. Where she was asking like, how much do you spend on drugs? And like, I was spending at least $100 a day, right?
Damn.
But like, or was I spending it, or was I selling enough to supply my habit, or what? Like, lie, cheat, and steal. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
Like, I fucked over a lot of people. Like, family members, the closest people are the easiest to fuck over. Like, I'm guilty, and I've made my amends with them. Like, I'm square with them. But the people closest to you are the easiest to fuck over. You know what I mean? And
That seems like it would have been the hardest part, making amends. Like, it seems like getting clean would have been easy, but making that amends seems like it would have been really difficult.
yeah, I mean, it is. My parents and, like, the people close to me were pretty open arms, right? They just were happy I was... They made it easy on me.
Yeah, they were happy to get you back.
I mean, it sucked, and I felt guilty, and I still feel guilty from, some days. But they were... My dad got it because he's a recovering addict, so, like, he got it. But lie, cheat, and steal, that's how you get high. Where there's a will... If only I wanted a mansion as much as I wanted to get high, right? Because I would figure out, if a mansion meant I got high every day... At that point, like, I would have owned a mansion. An addict's greatest asset is deception. An addict's worst asset is deception, right? Because it works for you when you need to get high, but it's also like you can lie to people. And, or in my opinion, that was mine, and that's from people I know. So when I found pills, I was just getting high every day, and, it came to the point that it was just like I was miserable. I didn't want to get high no more. But like,
so you actually wanted help. That was
kinda. All I knew was like for a while I just didn't want to have to get high anymore. I'm not sure I wanted help. It's a weird place to be because
it's not you, but you don't know how to get away from it.
Yeah, well,
or if you want to get away from it.
Here's how I could kind of equate it. Because unless you're like that's why program I think is so beneficial to people, is because it's people that do and feel the same way you feel when you think like no one knows. Because the best part about program is you sit in a room and you like bare your soul to people that know what you're talking about. Even if they're slamming heroin or just addicted to like weed or like, if you have that real addiction, like they know what it feels like. Not necessarily the high, not the amount doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter if I was only taking 1 pill a day or if I was taking 1,000 pills a day, right? From anywhere in between, they just know that mental state of having to get high. The only way I can equate it is, look, I will never know what it's like to be a girl. I just won't. I could say, oh, girls have this. I could sympathize, but like only a girl knows what it's like to live in that body, right? Where an addict knows what it's like to be an addict. We can all understand, or black, right? I don't know what it's like to be black. Like anything. We can all understand. We can all sympathize, but unless you're an addict, you don't know. So it got to the point where I didn't want to get high. It's such a weird place to be. I don't want to get high, but every like fiber, every molecule in your body tells you that you need to get high. It's just a matter of life or death.
Yeah, I've heard on the show Intervention, the opiate addicts talk about the same thing. They're like, I don't want to get high, but I have to get high. My body needs it.
It's such a mind fuck too. Your head is so screwed. Like your thoughts aren't clear, or you think they're clear, but they're just looking back. You're such a mind fucked, And kind of what had happened was I was getting high with my cousin a lot, and he had his wisdom teeth pulled out. When I had my wisdom teeth pulled out, I just manned up and like smoked through my nose, because you can't smoke. So I would like snort or like smoke through my nose. It's because I had to get high, It's fucked up. It's just that mentality of like, what do you mean? Okay, so I can't smoke through my mouth. It'll like create problems or whatever. I just smoke through my nose. Like, it's a natural progression. Who the fuck wouldn't do that? I have to get high. Right?
Oh, man.
And, like, so anyways, he had his wisdom teeth pulled out. And, like, he couldn't smoke. And, like, they didn't. And he ran out of pills. And, like, I used with him a lot. But, like, I used with myself the most. Like, I would always just maintain until I could be in my room by myself and then get high. You know what I mean? And, like, get really high. Like, that's where I felt comfortable to, like, fucking pass out on the floor with my door locked. You know what I mean? Or smoke, take, snort, whatever, as much of whatever I could find as I could get my hands on. And so, but he pretty much turned himself into his parents, said, look, I'm addicted to pills. I get sick when I don't take them.
It's your cousin?
Yeah. I get sick when I don't take them, you know, and you guys need to get Chad. And I was racing during this time. I was racing UTVs during this time, which is fucked up because I shouldn't be going on a track. But that goes back to, like, I had that Kawasaki that was like a cheater car, you know. And
to be honest, because we watched you race in the Kawasaki car,
yeah,
and you made it look easy.
That car was a cheater car. I'm telling you, that was
Why?
It was just so far ahead of its time.
Really?
It was faster and suspension wise, and like the car we built around it was just ahead of its time, like just light years ahead of anything else out there.
Well, each race we went to, you were either first or second.
Yeah, it was a cheater car, dude. I didn't even have to try. Like, I mean, you have to try, you have to have some skill, but like, it was easy in that car. You know, it didn't take much being on point for me. I could be hungover, I could be whatever. That car was just way faster and worked better in the bumps than the other cars in that class.
Yeah.
So he pretty much told his parents to tell my parents, like, oh, you gotta get a handle on Chad because he's fucked up too, you know? And my parents had an idea, obviously, because they had been researching, unknown to me, like rehabs and stuff. When I thought I was like Mr. Deception, I thought people thought I was like Joe Smo, clean guy, didn't even drink, because I didn't drink that much. Because I went to a hospital a couple times and they pretty much told me you can't drink anymore, or you can't get high anymore, stuff, because you'll die, you know. And it wasn't.
Did you have something wrong?
Like what? It was just overdosing or whatever the problem was. Just I had ulcers all through my esophagus, right? And that's why they told me I couldn't drink, because it was just fucking it all up. And I wasn't drinking that much. It was from like throwing up, from like taking a pill or snorting something and just being like sick or whatever, and it just like burnt my throat. 'Cause like I didn't eat very much. I'd have a piece of bread a day because, well, like drugs or like food, you know, where's the scale lie? Drugs, obviously.
Well, that and a lot of for me, a lot of opiates make my appetite go away.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why you can get away with it.
Yeah,
dude, I was probably like 145 pounds, 150 pounds, soaking wet. You know, I went into rehab and I gained 35 pounds.
Damn.
Dude, yeah.
Just from a healthy diet.
Yeah. Well, dude, they feed you like crazy in rehabs. I walked around every day with like a box of cookies. Like every single meeting, I was just eating cookies all day long. I was just so happy to be like hungry again and eating, and it tasted so good, you know. And my body just needed like fat. So,
what was the feeling of completing rehab?
Completing it?
Yeah.
The feeling was I just want to stay in here forever in rehab. It's such a safe place. I don't want to go back out to the world. Like, have to face real life problems. Because when you go into rehab, it's like strip everything away and like deal with you and you alone, not like your outside problems and stuff like that. Or for me, it was, and I just like dreaded going back out to the world and facing like how can you live? How can you live and not get drunk or get high? Like it's unfathomable. You know, like I was super stoked the first couple of days, and when I'm like, I haven't gotten high. It hasn't been this long since 8th grade. In 2 days, I haven't touched a drug, you know? And so real fast, though, my cousin turned me in. Probably shouldn't blow him out like that. But, yeah. He told my parents, and we were getting ready to go to a race. And I walked in this shop, and my dad said, like, sit down. You know what the deal is. And I said, fuck you guys, you don't know. Like, he's like, it's drugs or it's fucking, you don't get any of this shit anymore. Right? You don't get to play with our toys. You don't get all the benefits you have from being a George, which we have a lot of benefits. And I'm thankful every day for it. Hopefully I work hard enough to deserve them, but you don't get any of the assets we have as a family to... So I go, okay, I'll get clean, right? And after a fight, that's like real brief. After a fight, okay, I'll get clean.
So was it just your parents or you actually had an intervention?
It was just my parents. And like, yeah, just my parents here. And my grandma and grandpa and stuff, family. And then, so I said, okay, I'll get clean. And then, so I moved into their house and I started to pretend to get clean. You can't see that, but I put quotes around that. So comes over one day. I'm staying at my parents' house, and I'm like chill. I'm like feeling good, bouncing around, and he's sick as fuck, right? Because he's detoxing, and he's like, "What the fuck? Like maybe he wasn't doing them that bad." Well, just like any good addict, I had about 50 fucking stashes. So I was just using stuff that I had at my parents' house, and I just do enough to maintain and...
Not noticeable.
What? Yeah, just not noticeable, but
just
like...
doing enough to not get sick.
Doing enough to not get sick. That's what my life was about. That's what my whole existence was. How do I just not get sick? How do I get high? Like, everything revolves around drugs. How do I get my next fix? And just like any good addict... I could be sitting in a room the size of this, which is probably, 12 by 12 or something? Or
something like that.
15 by 15. And it could be full to the top with pills. And I'd still be looking for more pills because one is, like, it's never enough. Because eventually I'll use all these. But, so I had stashes everywhere. And sure enough, my cousin's wondering, why the hell... is he not sick? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Well, I was just getting high. And eventually, though, I started to run out because they wouldn't let me take my car anywhere. And one day I ran out and, like, I started to get, like, I started to detox hard. I was sweating. I was sick. So I, like, made up this lie. And I still hadn't, like, I was still paying for a room at one of my buddy's house where I knew I had more pills, and it was probably 15 mile, or 10 to 15 miles to his house. But
So they made it so you couldn't leave the house?
Yeah, they made it so they took my keys, everything. So I said, I made up this bullshit. Mom, my dad wasn't home. Yeah. I said, Mom, I need to go to my house. I need to get a movie. Or something, or some shit, I don't even know. Probably some stupid shit like that. I need to go to my house. She's like, no. Like, no. You're not going. You don't need shit. You know? Like, Mom, I'm fucking leaving. I'm going to my house. I'm a grown man, right? I'm 21. I'm fucking leaving. I'm going to my house. And then she called my dad or something, and then my dad's there. And I'm like, Dad, fucking let me leave. I'm arguing with him, you know. Fucking, I gotta go get this. I'm still sticking to this bullshit. I need to get a movie story, you know, like a DVD.
I need it, damn it.
Yeah, that's when they know what
He's like, I'm not fucking stupid. You're going to get high. I'm like, nah. It's not like that. Finally, and we're going back and forth, and like, it's getting like heavy, and I'm like, finally I just give in. I'm like, fucking Dad, you don't understand. Like, I have to get high. Like, it's not a fucking option. You let me the fuck out of here. I'm getting fucking high. And he's like, well, how are you getting there? Because I'm not giving you your fucking keys, you know? And you don't have any, there's no way to get there. Like, fucking whatever. And, like, we're going back, and, like, by now, tears are, like, fucking flowing. Because I'm, like, I know, like, I'm fucking done, right? This is, like, the last day. Like, I have to get fucking high. And he's walking behind me. And, like, I just start walking to that house, and I'm walking, like, down our block or whatever, and, like, tears are flowing or whatever. He's like, dude, and he gets it. He's like, dude, I get it. Like, I promise you, I fucking know, like, it will pass. I promise you, Chad. And I'm like, I said to him, I said, Dad, stop being fucking nice to me. Like, it's making it worse. You know, like, I don't deserve it. Stop being nice to me. And then eventually, like, I just started walking, and, like, he had to walk back. And I called someone to come pick me up, and they picked me up. And they took me into my house. And, like, but by that time, my dad had gotten in his truck, and they're, like, trying to beat me there. I got to my house, though, first, like, right on the cuff. And I locked myself in my room, and I got high, right? I took everything I could find. And, yeah, dude, it was a heavy day, and I knew that, like, I was done. Like, that was it. Like, I'm fucking over it. I don't want to have to get high anymore. It's either, like, get high or kill myself, or be less miserable or kill myself. So, like, I'll give rehab a shot. Like, you know, it doesn't matter. And that was my last day. And I walked out of my room, and everyone was there. My whole family, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandma, everyone was there.
So awesome.
Yeah, and they were like, and it was kind of I'm done. My mom had already made the calls and stuff, and I left for rehab the next day, and
that's a fucking amazing story, dude.
And so begins, like, the fucking story of, like, building a life. You know, it was cool. Or it was, and there's a lot of shitty stuff in there, but
well, yeah,
you know, everyone could use their head and figure out, like, I wasn't a good person, you know. But
you know what's awesome though is, like, just even hearing you talk, you can still tell, even to this day, you're still self-reflecting, going back, because just hearing you break things down is pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, dude, it was a necessity of life. It was like die or try to get clean. I was at those crossroads, and you get, like, this moment of clarity where it's like, maybe I can get clean. And then I went into rehab, and the best part about rehab, or the meetings, the best part about that for me was I saw people as bad or worse than me having a good time in life with multiple years clean. And I thought, I can do that, you know. And they grab you and they say, you can do it, you know. So that's what I did.
It's some real heavy shit. And I guess, in a way, you're right. Like, it was a blessing that it accelerated so quickly, because you could be sitting here at 30 trying to get clean.
Yeah. Or sitting on the corner down the street.
Yeah.
You know. I was fortunate that my parents were willing to send me to rehab, and a lot of people, and, like, you know, that they gave up that for me, that I hadn't burned that bridge so much that they weren't willing to help. And there's a million different avenues to find clean, but fortunately this one worked for me, you know. And when I got out of rehab, you were asking, I stayed at a sober living for like a year. Where I went to rehab down at the beach, and I stayed at a sober living for a year down there because I knew I wasn't ready to come back to, like, to home, where everyone I used with or everyone I got high with, and, like, that just helped me. Like, if you build, like, no house can stand on dirt for very long, you know, on sand for very long. But if you build a foundation, like, you got some foothold, you know. So that's kind of what I did when I was down there. And
the rehabs always recommend sober living, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Because you always hear the stories of getting out of rehab and going right back into it.
Yeah. I mean, and that happens for a lot of people.
It's like you need that controlled environment to just give you that structure while you're trying to put things back together.
Yeah, dude. I was 21. I was used to living on my own, but at rehab, I had to be home by like 9 o'clock. I had to go to X amount of meetings. I had to do X amount of chores. Like, this shit was straight, like, and I'm there by choice, but and you can't get high.
That's like a prison, kind of. But
Yeah,
you're choosing to be there to make
you're
sure that you
choosing to be there.
survive.
Just that I had to make my bed every day, you know. But it just helped me build like so many like tools for life that like I skipped out on for a lot of years, right? Because like my head was still a 17-year-old kid just fucking up. So like sober living and rehab like built me skills to like go take on the world, you know.
Well, you seem really good now.
No, I'm no saint. I'm just normal now. Now I just get to face like life problems. You know, like
just regular
fucking,
shit.
Yeah, like what they call quality problems, like just fucking living life and how am I going to make this bill or not or whatever, you know.
But I kind of think sometimes going through a experience like that is so beneficial in life in general with dealing with things. Like you've been through harder times.
It's I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but I'd be there for anyone that's going through it. You know what I mean? That's kind of how you got to look at it. Or that's how you got to think you got to look at, you know. Talking's always easy, but I mean, I still talk to addicts and mostly to remind myself. They say that helping another addict helps you more than it helps them. Because it reminds, like someone trying to get clean, like it reminds me, I was there. I was just like that. I don't want to do that no more, you know? So.
Have you been a sponsor?
I was for a short period of time. Or, I mean, I was for a little bit, but I'm, and it wasn't very, like, with all the other stuff, I just didn't feel like being a sponsor was, like, I did the program and all that, but I didn't feel like I could give myself enough to, like, people, especially, whatever, I can make up a million excuses, but maybe I just didn't commit to it. But I've definitely helped people. I answer my phone, and I always point people in the right directions if I can. But there again, it helps me more than it helps them.
It seems like in racing season, being a sponsor would almost be irresponsible.
That's what it is. Or that's what I tell myself. Maybe it is or it isn't, but that's what I tell myself to justify. And plus, I'm not like super plugged into the program anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be kind of dedicated to be a sponsor.
Yeah, you have to be. It has to be. You gotta be still working your steps. Like you gotta be in it. And now, like just talking about it, I think in my head, like, I want to go back to a meeting just to like meet some of the people. Right? I still will go every once in a while, but I did what they call 90 and 90, at least 90 meetings in your first 90 days. Right?
Yeah.
But I probably did more than that. When I was in, it was just because I was building that foundation of like,
yeah,
I need something to stand on, you know?
Coming back from all that and getting back into racing, do you feel like you were more what I'm trying to say? You're
Focused.
You're more focused, better. Like, did you come out like more on top afterwards? Especially with racing.
Well, when I had that cheater car, it was
just too easy.
The difference is I was more a part of the program of racing, right? I was more tuned into working on the car, putting in the extra hours, understanding that this does that, changing this a little bit will equal this on the track. Just gave me more fire for being involved in the program, because like I've had shitty seasons, worse than I've ever had while being clean, and I've had better seasons than I've ever had while being clean. But what it gave me was more
focus and drive.
Focus and driving, for sure, focus and driving. But it gave me more. It put me more into the program of like, here's like, I want to be a part of this team. I don't want to be the driver of this team.
That's what I meant, but I didn't mean driver. I meant drive, as in your drive to do more work on the car, to become a part of the team.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
focus on, like, you know, if my guy changes this in my suspension, it's going to do this for me on the track, and I'm understanding that, and I focus on it, and I could be a part of it, and let him know that, yeah, that actually helped me out there, so you're doing the right thing.
Absolutely, like 100%. It just gave me, and at work, after a while, I just became a normal person. My life didn't no longer revolve around getting high, so I became a better employee and started to make more money. Life started to get better. the blessings, they say.
Damn.
That was a fucking real ass story. One thing I can compare it to is Jeremy on episode 11 when he talked about Iraq.
Yeah, that was the gnarliest story I've ever heard about. Like, yeah. But hey, dude, that's the. We all do it. Everyone has their own story.
Yeah.
What are we like way deep in?
Is that on the second part? Do you?
I don't know where we're at, because I know at some point it switches over. It'll start over, like a new track. And I think we started over onto a new track, because this one has an hour and 48 on it.
Dude, we're probably like way deep.
Yeah.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
Chad, dude, awesome having you on, man.
No, thanks for.
Thank you so much for your honesty. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
No, of
it's
course.
it's very rare you get people on the podcast that are willing to let everything out. We've had a few guests, and they're amazing podcasts, just like this one.
Yeah. No, dude, thanks for having me on. And come on anytime. I want to hear part of you guys talk. I feel like I did a lot of talking.
Well, we were just sitting here in awe the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know what to say half the time.
I think I'm just more impressed on how much you've self-reflected. Like hearing you talk about that, and like hearing like what road you went down. It's just, I don't know. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and what's cool about the podcast is it makes you.
Yeah.
If you want it to, if you want people to even want to listen, you gotta kind of bare your soul a little bit. you
Yeah.
know? Right.
Yep.
I guess.
Yeah, if you talk for this long, it's really easy to tell if you're being fake or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got nothing to hide, dude. It is what it is.
Can you plug Funko one more time? So if people want to check it out.
Motorsports. So we got a website, funkomotorsports.com. And our YouTube page has all our cool videos and cool shit. Like our GTQ videos, which are our sand cars, are some of our new ones and fun to watch and fun to dream. And
Some of the videos I've seen of you driving, I don't even know how you drive like that, or even get the skill to drive like that.
You just time in the seat. I've logged a lot of hours behind the wheel. Behind the wheel of a Funko for that. Just time in the seat.
That's so rad.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
fuck,
a
man.
fortunate kid. Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, we're going to do this again.
Yeah.
We're so excited just coming over here to check out the cars.
Yeah. Feel free. We'll go. You guys have to come out to Glamis.
That'd be fun.
Trip out to Glamis.
I just want to sit in the passenger seat with you. That's all I want, dude.
I go testing a lot. So, like, what I do is I'll leave one night.
I'm going to cut you off real quick.
Yeah.
ModeCast out.
ModeCast
Cast
out.
out.